Hello and welcome to Guitarist TV. My name is Jason J. Rock Houston, and you're watching episode 3 of Special Editions. This is a new show we do once a month, Mick, where we have a guest come on and talk about any particular topic it could be, probably music related. But in today's episode, what I've decided to do, since Christmas is right around the corner, we're going to be talking about Christmas related stuff. And being that your band, Corners of Sanctuary, for the last several years has been putting out a new Christmas single, and you guys just released the latest one. We're going to be talking quite a bit about that. So let's share with people checking this out today. How long have you guys been? How many years has it been now since you started recording the Christmas music?
This is our 12th release. So
Wow.
yeah, well, actually, the first one was called December Wind, so that wasn't part of our Merry Metal package, which started the following year. So this is our 13th holiday release.
Yeah, the reason I ask is because, correct me if I'm wrong, the band's been together about 13 or 14 years, right? Total?
Yeah, 14 years.
Wow, what an accomplishment! Almost 15. And I
Yeah.
say that because you've almost been doing it the whole entire time the band's been around, not quite, but almost. And it's become an annual tradition with you guys, something that the fans look forward to every year.
Yeah, it has. I don't think it started out that way. Like that wasn't our goal. It was just
Just kind
something
of,
that we wanted
yeah,
to definitely, get to do. And then just every year, people kept asking about it, and we kind of just went with it each time. We have a great time doing it. We get a lot of airplay, of course, and it never goes out of season per se.
sure, sure.
So we're able to kind of recycle some of the stuff each year and add to it each year as well. So we're excited about it.
What's amazing is, when I've had you on before, you shared with me the fact that, while Corners of Sanctuary is no doubt a metal band, that this is the one time of year where you get like more airplay than ever.
Yeah, that's well. Again, we get airplay on stations,
Sure.
both FM and internet, and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. We get on a lot of different playlists, in the streaming world as well, that we normally wouldn't because
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, Christmas music in general is timeless. It's, in a business sense, it's kind of safe. So
Sure.
it works in a lot of different capacities. I mean, look, Trans-Siberian Orchestra proved that you could take a
Sure.
metal band like Sabotage and
Yeah.
put it in a different setting, and all of a sudden the demographic changes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's
And,
working for us, and we have a good time with it.
and let's talk about the latest single that just came out, Christmas Fairy Tale. Now,
Yeah.
what I love about the song, besides being a Christmas song, is that it's so upbeat. I mean, making Christmas music, how could you not do an upbeat song? But talk a little bit about the writing for this song, how the song came together.
Well, we usually start working on the next year's Christmas song during the release time of the current
Yeah.
Christmas song. So this was started to put together while we released Get on the List last year. And that's because we're in the zone, right? Christmas is
Yeah.
happening, it's
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
around us. We're releasing a song, we're doing a lot of Christmas because we do Christmas promotion for 6 weeks.
Sure.
We won't do anything else but the Christmas promotion. So you're kind of like jazzed up about it.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
start jotting things down, and then we'll sit on it. We'll sit on it till maybe April and May, and then we go back to it and we start kind of fine tuning it so that by August every year we start recording it. So usually, mid August we're in the studio working on our Christmas song. So it's usually ready to go, released by November at some point.
Oh
This
wow.
is our earliest release. We This year we released on November 10th, which is the earliest we've ever done it. We wanted to see what the market would be like.
Sure. Sure.
And it's doing okay. It's doing good.
I
We're
mean,
happy with that.
perfect time. Right after Thanksgiving. I mean, that's the annual kickoff for when the countdown for Christmas begins. I mean, as we're like 22 days away, and I think and they have this new thing I was just hearing all day on the radio today that they're calling Giving Tuesday. It's the Tuesday now, right after Thanksgiving,
Right.
to try to do something kind or donate to worthy causes. So it's all in that perfect timing, all in that spirit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Like I said, we have a good time with it. At one time, a number of years ago, a couple of years after starting this, we were thinking of, hey, maybe we should just do nothing but Christmas songs. Just stick with that. And we seem to get a pretty good response about it. And it's as much of a tapped market as it is, it's still very much untapped by a lot of
Yeah.
indie trench bands. Simply because everybody focuses so much on their craft and their originals, and you can easily do original holiday music. I mean, we primarily do that ourselves, but I think that it's still an untapped market that a lot of bands don't take for granted to utilize, especially for themselves, because again, each year it's something that can be reused. I mean, we have a song called "Hide No More" that we did back in 2000. We actually wrote it in 2015, released it in 2016, and it
Wow.
was a one and done deal on our first compilation. Best of type of
Yeah, yeah.
compilation. It was a couple new tracks, and we forgot about it. And then each year it kind of kept popping up, but we never really thought about it. This year, somebody reached out early about it and said, "Hey, do you have this and that?" Unfortunately, we had lost a lot of files a couple of years back. We lost some of our archives, like a data dump that we had no control of, unfortunately. So the song actually had to be remixed and remastered, which we did for this particular individual. Then they asked for artwork, and we were like, "Artwork? We don't, the song's like, 10 years old."
Yeah.
But during the artwork process, we decided that, hey, we could put together a small comic book about this song revolved around the Jekyll and Hyde thing. And that's what we did for Halloween. We actually got to re-release the song on a new CD called The Monster Inside, which has a lot of B-sides or unreleased tracks that maybe just might be on CD, but they're not streaming anywhere. There's a couple songs that were released that are on there as well, but there's like 16 songs on, and it comes with a 2-page. Then the pages are 11 by 17, two sides, I should say, full color comic. So we're kind of excited about that. So now, we've always done Christmas stuff. Now each year we have a little Halloween thing that we can officially put out. So we're
I
kind of
wasn't aware of
so
that. That
holidays are a definite thing. So I don't know. Maybe we'll do something for St. Patty's Day and Easter. Who knows?
Hey, that would be cool because you'd be the only you'd really have a handle on all the holidays. That's something no other band has done. And um, you were mentioning the song "Get on the List," and it's funny you brought that up because it's been years since I've seen like a really great Christmas movie. But recently, I went to see the Red One starring The Rock, and
Oh,
I don't know if you've seen, but throughout the film, they're talking about the naughty and nice list, and that's why I bring it up. But it's the strength. It's a really good film, but it's unique in that you think, oh, it's going to be a cute picture about Santa Claus getting kidnapped and all this and that, and they show you all the funny parts, in the preview and everything. But this is the best way I can describe it, Mick. And I've never thought I'd be describing a Christmas film this way. It's action Christmas. It's an action Christmas movie. It's really unique and it's something different, but it's the first kind of holiday movie they've had in years. Um, and the last holiday film that I really kind of really got a kick out of was the one with Chevy Chase, Christmas Vacation. That's like 35 years ago, if you can believe that. With
right,
Bruce
right.
All.
Oh
Yeah,
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 yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah. Well, I think that for in today's market, because of how everything's so fast paced and it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
it's so quickly diminished or disappears. I think it's bands really have to kind of get creative and get involved in different aspects of things that they normally wouldn't do. I mean, you know, we write, we record, we release, and we play out, right?
Sure.
That's kind of the general thing. Some bands don't do all that, some do some of it, some do all of it. But I think that because the market is so oversaturated now and you can quickly lost in the shuffle, I think that and to keep the creative juices going, keep the inspiration alive within the band because you can quickly have it fall on its
Sure,
ear quick
sure. Yeah.
in today's market. So I think you gotta try different things. And some people say, you're just selling out or you're doing this or it has nothing to do with your music or maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But I guess at the end of the day, we look at ourselves as, and I'm going to use this term loosely, that we're artists, that the new term is creatives, right? content creators, whatever. So that gives us a license to try different things
Sure.
within. I mean, we're still adding music. It's not like all of a sudden I don't even know, but I mean, I guess as long as our music that we're creating is still part of what we're doing, whether it's comics or videos or movies or, because we have a biography coming out in 2015 to coincide with our 10-year anniversary of the release of our Metal Machine album, which kind of is the album that kind of like really propelled
Launch.
us
Yeah.
into the, I guess, public consciousness.
Stratosphere. Yeah.
So we're going to celebrate that, and I mean, so you just come up with different things, and you try keeping your music out there, you keep your brand alive, and that's what we're doing.
Yeah, and you're doing a great job. I mean, like you said, 14 years into it, people are still buying your music. I know one thing you and I have in common. We talked much about over years is we both are huge Kiss fans, and back in the day, Kiss was a band that was releasing like two albums, a year, and that was something to look for. They were always giving their fans, a little extra, even for Live 2 got four extra, studio tracks, and you guys are kind of the same way. You're giving your fans a little extra than just putting out one album a year. In fact, I was joking with you before we went on air, Mick, that asking, hey, what are you working on now? Because I imagine every time I talk to you, oh, we're already working on the next release. Yeah.
Yeah, we have a new EP coming out February 9th. It's called Forever Metal. The first track that's gonna the first single is Never Count Me Out. And actually, here's a little bit of inside scoop. The tail end of Christmas Fairy Tale, the heavy part at the end, that's actually the beginning of Never Count Me Out. We just added the bell chimes to it to kind of almost like a prelude to what's coming in February. We have we're pretty excited about the EP. We have the title track of that, Forever Metal, was actually written about Steve Grimmett from Grim Reaper. We got to play with Steve several times, and we got to hang and talk with him. And I interviewed him for the Cosmic View a couple years ago, and we worked with him on the Here and Now project during COVID. And so there was a bit of a connection there. So we wrote this song in remembrance of him, and we included Steve Stein, the guitar guru, was a good friend of Steve's, as well as Ian Nash, who was playing in Steve Grimmett's Grim Reaper. And they're playing lead guitar on some sections in there. So we got them on board. So we're kind of excited about that. And we got we've been working on the Vengeance of the Fallen album literally probably the past 5 years. We've started, stopped it, started, stopped it. We have a proposed date in September 2025, September 15, 2025. The album is supposed to release. So we're hoping to stay on track with that. But we have a bunch of other stuff coming over the next 18 months. We're going to re-release Metal Machine, new masters and all. We're going to reissue our first two albums, which haven't been available. They haven't been available since 2015, but we're doing all new tracks with some tracks with the current lineup. So there are going to be new mixes, new masters. The first album's Breakout. That was our initial album that released in 2012. That's actually almost done. Wow. And then our second album, Harlequin, which was a concept album. And I'll be honest with you, it didn't do very well. But we're going to reissue it because the songs did well live. They just didn't translate that very well when we recorded them. But that's going to come out with a comic book as well because there was a whole story to that. So over the next 18 months, we're going to be releasing a bunch of different stuff, updated stuff, along with new material. So we're going to stay busy the best we can.
Hey, Mick, don't feel bad because even Judas Priest has Nostradamus.
Hey, I like that. I like that album. I like it. So
okay, that's cool. Hey, being that you're a Judas Priest fan, I don't know if you knew that I haven't got it yet, but they recently reissued their very first album, Rockarola, and they
I seen it. I actually have. I posted it too not too long ago. When I was in the UK the last time, I picked up a second pressing of that album. Yeah. I got it in a UK record store in Skipton. Which I was kind of excited about. Yeah, but that's pretty cool, man. They finally that reissue. I know they're excited about it. As a fan, I'm excited about it. So yeah, it's really cool.
Anybody who's
I love that
Priest fan, I urge them to go check it out because I came across it for the first time a couple of years back, like online, and so I'd always heard about this album. I want to check it out, and it's not your typical Priest album. It's much more closer to progressive rock, and the reason for
Yeah.
that is it was written with another vocalist before Halford was in the band, and then he came into the band and singing some other guys' um, parts. But that's why it sounds the way it does. But still, it's interesting to see that's where Judas Priest started out to become the metal gods that they are today.
Yeah. No, I think it's a fantastic album. I like it. It's a little groovy at times, but that's the time, right? I
That's the
mean,
birth of Judas Priest, so that's what came.
that's right. That's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah, and now we also got to mention about the new Christmas EP. You shared with me, and people can go check this out online too. You guys put out a great cover of Black Sabbath's "Paranoid." Talk a little bit about that because you
Yeah,
guys
so
nailed it.
there's two versions of the Christmas release. We have a digital EP, which is just two songs, which is Christmas Fairy Tale and our cover of Paranoid. And that's why it's called A Naughty and Nice Christmas. So we wanted to play on the words and something different for us. So, Christmas Fairy Tale's the nice and Paranoid's the naughty type of thing, right?
Oh,
So,
I like
um,
that.
you know, I
Yeah,
mean, because you hear like you hear the thing like bands play and somebody goes "Free Bird," right?
yeah,
But if you think about it, "Paranoid" is a heavy metal fan's "Free Bird," right? It's
yeah.
that
And
song. It's our
that was
go-to
that
song.
was
It's the one
Sabbath's
that,
like first major radio hit.
yeah. So we doing the song, it was something we thought about for a long time, believe it or not, but we put it off to the side. It's not something we were looking to do. Our new bass player, Matt, had suggested it about a year ago. He said, "Hey, listen, why don't we try Paranoid?" And I said, "Well, we thought about it, but I had a specific way I wanted to play it. We never really just seemed to spend enough time to work on it." He says, "Why don't we give it a shot? Give it a shot." And I says, "All right." So that's what we did. We gave it the Corners of Sanctuary gallop,
Yeah.
and kind of beefed it up that way, and we have a good time with it. And we've just started playing it for the last couple shows we did, and it's definitely a crowd catcher. And they hear it, they hear the opening notes, and they immediately know what it is. But then when we kick into it with our different play
Yeah.
on the chord progression, it throws people off, and but it's a good throw off. And but yeah, so we're excited about it. But then we have a CD version, a physical CD version that does not have the Paranoid cover on it, but it has Christmas Fairy Tale and nine other songs over the course of the last 13
Again,
years.
a little collector's item, a little something extra. I dig that, and Mick, Paranoid too for even just somebody who's a casual Sabbath fan, or that's a song many people probably heard on the radio. So it's a pretty good choice. And that's the other thing you shared me, I think last time I talked to you. But last couple of years, you guys have also kind of done these covers, and you were admitting for the longest time was kind of against it. And you're like, no, I don't. And to be honest, you're not really a band that needs to do covers because you're such a gifted songwriter. We've talked about that you don't really need to do it. But I think it's cool, like because you have these other songs you can kind of throw into the set. I mean, you also did a Def Leppard 3-song EP, I think it was, and so. You're not going to do a whole set of Def Leppard covers, but it's fun to be able to throw those tunes into the set.
Yeah, I mean you're absolutely right. I fought covers most of my playing career. Right. During COVID, we had just as we started talking, like there was a lot of things that we decided, hey, why not? What's the big deal? We were offered the chance to be on a compilation, a tribute to an artist or band. We
Uh,
took it and we ran with it. We found that we had some fun with it. I mean, the truth of the matter is, I don't have to do covers.
yeah,
It's not that I need to do one or the other, but it's become fun now, and it's a good break from what we do. Like, I mean,
yeah.
I think at this stage of the game, I have enough original material that you can go, okay, well, he does write his own stuff, or the band does write their own
It's
things.
not a case of hey, the songs Mick has been bringing in, man, they really suck. I mean, it's not a case of that, but I think it's cool, like you said, because it's something fun for you guys, different to do, something fun for the fans. I mean, and I got to tell people to go check this out because you guys don't always do the well. Paranoid may be kind of an obvious choice for you guys to do. I love the fact that you covered the Osmonds, Crazy
Yeah.
Horse.
Yeah, I mean, well, Frankie, our singer, and myself, I mean, we grew up in the '70s, so we were fans of the
Yeah,
Osmonds. I mean,
yeah.
I'm not afraid to say it. I mean,
No,
there
no.
was, pop music ruled, especially during the 70s, even during the
Hey, do you
80s.
remember?
And
Do
we
you
were
remember the Bee
influenced.
Gees staying alive?
Yeah, I love the Bee Gees.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, you're influenced by what you hear,
yeah. What you,
that
yeah,
was definitely a song that should have propelled that band. Listen, they were huge.
yeah, yeah.
Anybody that doesn't know who the Osmonds are, or don't remember
Check
that
them
time,
out.
they
Check
were
them out. Yeah,
gigantic.
yeah,
But they definitely were going a different route for a short period of time, and then they went back to their pop type of thing. But yeah, I mean, listen, I mean, yes, Paranoid is an obvious choice, and that's one of the reasons why we didn't want to
do
actually
it.
do it. But
Yeah,
when we do our version of it, it changes the game, right? And it makes it even more enjoyable to play, um, than just doing it, literally note by note. I mean, we have a little bit of fun with it, but we don't want to disrespect the song in any way. I mean, I'm a believer that if you're going to do a cover song, and that's maybe why I hadn't done them all those years,
yeah,
is because they got to be just as good or better than the original. Like, why would you want to listen to it otherwise?
yeah.
Um, I know why artists do them, because they can quickly gain an audience with a cover song, because it's a guarantee. Well,
Yeah.
nothing's a guarantee. Shouldn't say that, but at the same time, it's guaranteed that people will
Know it.
listen at least once. Yeah, maybe a little bit more readily than something that they've never heard before.
It's kind of like Frankie Vanelli shared with me once when I interviewed him that in regards to Quiet Riot doing those two Slade songs, he said, okay, Quiet Riot got the Quiet Riot got the fame, and rightfully so, but Slade got all the money, kind of as their career was ending, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, that's another thing too. I mean, I've told people, like, I don't. What's the point of me doing covers? I don't make any. I barely make any money on my own music, let
yeah, yeah,
alone doing somebody else's music. So, again, you know what? We're fans first,
yeah,
and at this stage of the game, we're just having a good time with it, and why not? Right? Why not? I tell you what. I'll be honest with you. Like, when you brought, Crazy Horses, our version, it did chart on the World Indie Top 100, and
amazing.
so did Inside Out, our Warrant cover.
Wow, wow.
Which is, yeah, we had fun with that as well. It's something completely different, because honestly, I mean, I was never a huge Warrant
Yeah,
fan. I wasn't familiar. I was familiar with their first album, but after
MTV
that,
hits
not as much.
probably. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, but we picked the song from their third album, Inside Out, that I thought they kind of reflected kind of what we could do, and we changed that a little bit as well. But yeah, we had some fun with it.
yeah, yeah. And doing the Black Sabbath cover, I got to ask, were you much of an Iommi fan growing up? Was he a huge influence on you?
He wasn't a huge influence on me per se. My older brother plays guitar, and Black Sabbath was his. I mean, Kiss and Black Sabbath were
Yeah,
definitely big bands for him. So I got like a trickle down effect. So early on, I mean, I have that Black Sabbath type of style, a lot of block chords, playing like that. So yeah, I guess inadvertently I was influenced by him. How can you not be?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, but as I grew older, and trying to mature in my guitar, I became more and more familiar with his style and things of that nature. And I often hear it because I'm left-handed myself. People
Okay.
quickly say, oh, Black Sabbath or whatever. Tony Iommi is left-handed. So actually adding this into our set adds a little bit of extra flavor because I am left-handed. So again, it's just fun. We're just having fun with it.
And I'm sure, like a lot of people like me, you probably love it all. But in regards to Sabbath, do you have a preference of Ozzy versus Dio? I mean, I personally love them both, but I don't know. I lean a little more towards Ronnie.
Yeah, I would too. For my, one, for the musicality of it,
Yeah, yeah,
and I feel that some of his best guitar playing was done in those two albums.
yeah, yeah,
Um, but that for that time, right,
yeah,
when
yeah.
of
I
the
mean, I
of
think for
of
me
the
too,
larger era.
that's kind of when I really got into Sabbath, and then you realize Ronnie wasn't even the original singer, but in a way, they just continue to go up, instead of
Yeah,
going.
yeah, those two albums are fantastic. I mean, they really are. And I'll tell you what, I think that even though, Ozzy's version of Sabbath is what really kind of got heavy
Got to go.
metal,
Yeah,
got it
going.
going, I think that the version with Dio, those two albums, I think helped define what 80s heavy metal would become, or what
Sure,
was
sure.
supposed to become
Sure.
before the hair metal
Yeah,
explosion.
yeah, yeah.
Because it just, because it if it was if well, it went into a couple sections, right? But if it didn't go poppy, which is what to me hair metal went,
Yeah.
it was that edgy type of gritty heavy blues,
Sure.
but with the power chords type
I
of
mean,
thing.
interesting
I think
enough,
that's cool.
from what I understand, I've heard Iommi talk about Sabbath really came from the blues originally, all the guys. And
Yeah,
then what's interesting is I think too why I lean a little more towards Ronnie is knowing the fact I've heard Geezer talk over years that on all those Ozzy albums, he was the guy that wrote all the lyrics and everything. And then he said, once Ronnie comes into the band, I didn't need to do that anymore. But it's kind of interesting to know that the bass player wrote all those Sabbath
yeah,
songs, you know?
yeah, absolutely. Well, and again, they had more of that doom stoner
Yeah,
type
yeah,
feel with
yeah.
Ozzy. And then when Dio joins the thing, they actually, I think, even though they kind of spearheaded the whole heavy metal movement, I
Sure.
think they really became a heavy metal band
Yeah, yeah.
in those two albums.
Yeah, well, I think through all the Aussie era, they were kind of finding themselves, if you know what I mean. I mean, they did it. I mean, technical ecstasy, that's really quite different than stuff on Volume 4, you know?
Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah,
hey, listen, it's with any band, right?
sure, sure.
You're kind of experimenting as you go along, and you're saying, "Hey, let me try this, let me try that." And they were in a time, and the opportunity presented themselves because they literally, their career went like this, and they had all this resource available to them. So why
This is
not?
it.
And they were a bit influenced
Yeah,
at times,
yeah.
so it changes your thinking, it opens up your imagination, I guess.
And like you said, too, I think by the time they do technical ecstasy, that's when the band's starting to fall apart. And then, then they the search for Ronnie.
Right, right.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Yeah, so let me ask you, do you guys have any more shows scheduled till the new year?
yeah, we have a few more shows left. Uh we have a show this Saturday, December 7th. We'll be in Delaware, Wilmington, Delaware. Uh we have a show December 13th, the Christmas celebration with Spread Eagle. We're going to be in Newark, Delaware. And then we wrap things up for us December 14th. We're doing a Merry Metal Christmas uh, show with our friends in Execution Order right here outside of Philly here, and we'll be off for about a month or so.
And let me ask you, those two Christmas shows you mentioned are celebrations. Will they be will be a regular Corners of Sanctuary set, or specifically going to focus on the Christmas music?
No, there'll be regular Corners of Sanctuary sets. Yeah,
Yeah, do you think?
believe it or not, after all these years, we've only played the Christmas song one time during the season while we were on the road. We played "Driven Snow." That's an older song. We played that, I don't know, a couple years back, maybe 2015, 16, something like that. I can't even remember. But that was it. We don't really play any of the songs,
Okay,
of
yeah,
those songs live. I mean, we've talked about it, putting together a whole Christmas. We actually have enough set material
sure,
now,
sure. Yeah.
after all these single releases to do it. But I don't know if we'd ever do it, to tell you the truth. Maybe
So,
something down the line, but we have so much other things
stuff to do. Yeah,
happening.
yeah.
Yeah.
So no chance of like just throwing in the new Christmas single,
No,
like
I
Chris.
doubt it. I mean, but you never know. But
Yeah,
I don't think so, because honestly, because we wrapped things up with the single back in August, we've never gone back to it since. We'd want to, if you're going to do it, we'd have to spend some time actually working it into the set, doing some experimenting with it. It's not one of those things. I don't think anybody would just
yeah.
kind of like right off the cuff type of thing. That's not
That's why
that's
that's
not
why I
how we
think
put our
like if,
shows
if you were
together.
to like throw one in there, I think the fans might, hey, that's pretty cool. They put it out there.
Yeah. No, I mean,
But
listen, I mean, it's definitely a consideration. Maybe one day, who
yeah,
knows? We'll
I mean,
see.
it trips me out to like I think I talked to you about this last year. The fact that for years, Twisted Sister's best-selling album, of course, was "Stay Hungry," and now it is the Christmas album they put out a number of years
Yeah.
ago. Yeah,
Yeah.
That kind of crack me
Yeah.
up.
Hey, listen, like I said, Christmas music is timeless,
Uh,
and I mean, for a lack of a better word, it's safe, right? It opens
yeah.
up doors to uh, all different demographics to embrace it because
Yeah.
right now it's everywhere.
So
It's
Mick, like when
everywhere.
you guys it's that time, to start thinking about next year, which you guys are probably already doing. How do you decide? Okay, we're gonna do a like Christmas classic. We're gonna cover a Christmas classic, or I'm gonna write an original Christmas song
Well, we've done about seven
of each.
Christmas Christmas classic songs over the years. Like we just posted a couple years ago. We redid Silent Night. We
Yeah,
just reposted the video today on our
yeah,
Facebook page. Um, but we've done Jingle Bells, Hark the Herald Angels Sing. Like I said, Silent Night.
that's cool.
Um, a couple other ones,
Yeah, yeah,
Joy
yeah.
to the World. But we do them with a twist. So we take the part of the song, but then we add our own parts of the song. We've added different vocals and stuff like that. But when we're writing material, like I mean, like our goal now is to continue writing original material as much as we can.
Yeah.
We may re-release some of those other songs in the coming years, but they're out there, so you can check
Sure,
them out
sure.
anytime you want.
Now you mentioned
Yeah,
that you're going to be doing a lot of these. I guess you'll call them re-releases of older stuff that's been out of print and stuff over the
yeah.
course of the next year. Will people be able to get that physical? Because talk about your legacy. 14 years later, Mick. I mean, you've got quite a catalog of music, and I know people would probably love to have physical copies of that.
Yeah. Well, those they will be re-released only as CD. They will not be released digitally. They'll only
Oh,
be available as CD. Like I said, our second album, Harlequin's going to come with a comic book, a mini. I don't know. I think it's like 12-page comic book telling the story, and with the CD, with the updated tracks, new masters. With both. Actually, our first three albums. Breakout, Harlequin, and Axe to Grind, they were pulled years ago, so they're not even available anymore.
yeah.
We'll probably do Axe to Grind maybe in 2026 if we're still around, but we're right now focusing at least on the first two albums.
That would be cool to have that just because it's been so unavailable all these years now. The comic book, how involved are you with somebody else designing that? Or you designing it? Or
Yeah, we're working with a company like so for the Hide No More comic that we just did, the monster inside. We worked with AI Action Graphics or AI Action
yeah,
Comics, or I can't remember. But we gave them. I mean, the song was loosely based on the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde story. We added a couple of our own characters in there as well, and we were involved with it the whole time.
sure,
So that we want to keep it sanitized to a certain point. I mean, these
yeah,
aren't graphic type of
yeah,
overly graphic type things, but I mean, I was a comic book fan growing up, and I know a lot of metalheads are. So I thought it was a cool piece to add.
yeah.
We did a comic last year. We had started a comic strip for the Cosmic Voice, the podcast I do, and we released that over the past summer. And
Oh,
that kind of gave us the idea to push forward with, hey, let's do a comic book for, one of our albums. Let's do the one that has the concept story behind it that was written, and it's included in the original album. But we figured this will give us an opportunity to get a visual piece to it and really expand on the story.
and who knows, Mick? I mean, Kiss did a comic book years ago. I know Sean Peck from Cage. He's done some comic stuff with his music over years, and metal fans really have a love for comics, like you said. And who knows, you may be able to start making appearances at comic book stores and conventions. You
Yeah.
never know because the metalheads
Well,
are crazy for all
yeah,
that.
we'll see. I mean, that's definitely not on the thinking, but hey, you never know what's going to happen. But
Crazy things have
yeah,
happened,
so
right?
I mean, yeah, it'll be whatever. We'll have it available.
Okay, well, I won't take up any more time before I let you go, Mick. Merry Christmas. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. As did I. This thing we just shot, I'm gonna try to have it up by Friday. Once I know for sure, I'll let you know, and then feel free to share it. Okay.
All right, man. Thanks so much. Happy holidays. Appreciate
Corners
it.
of Sanctuary, 14 years. Way to go, brother. Bye
Thanks,
bye.
man. Thank you. Bye bye.